Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for round 15 for the Singapore Grand Prix for the F1 Night Race. If you guys did miss round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix, then check it out in the last episode by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. And a very interesting race around the Temple of Speed, taking on the Saubers and the Ferraris in a real big power circuit. But for this race, we are here at Singapore. Finally, no rain expected this weekend, which is great. Makes a big change because I've had rain in Singapore for the last couple of years now. And in terms of upgrades, we have a minor aero and a major engine upgrade on the car for this race. So a big upgrade package for this one, which is going to mean in the R&D tree and in the actual development race, we overtake Haas as the third best team and also Red Bull as well. However, we are breathing down Ferrari's neck, but Sauber again have brought an upgrade, and it's exactly the same as ours because they've kept the gap exactly the same. We are trying so hard to catch these guys, but they just keep on pulling away, which is really annoying. But still, nonetheless, we are pretty much equal now, second best team along with Ferrari, and hopefully we can add on some upgrades in this episode if we're lucky, if we get enough points. And in terms of engines, obviously in the last race in Monza, I debuted component number 3 for that one race, but we're going back to component number 2 for Singapore here, which is not such an engine dependent track. So yeah, pretty much we're going to now jump into qualifying, and I do feel confident around here because I've got a good setup. I do enjoy Singapore as a track. It's a real challenge, and there's a lot of opportunities to get the lap right or wrong, depending if you do execute it properly. Now, I think around here as well, the Saubers are going to be limited because, as we know, the Saubers' main strength is their engine power. They are by far the most powerful engine. And then in terms of aero and chassis, they're pretty average. So this is a track that's going to neutralise their pace quite a bit and make them not so big of a threat. Obviously, they're still going to be ridiculously quick, but it's going to make them a lot less noticeable than the previous track. So hopefully we can try and cause a bit of trouble here today and maybe get in amongst it. Now let's jump into qualifying. Hypersoft tyres at the ready. 3 runs in this session as we always do. And yeah, we're going to see how it goes. Straight away I can tell you my best lap was the last lap. However, I was actually faster on my second run, but I got an invalidation. But first of all, we're going to watch the first run. As you can see, they're already hitting the wall there. My first lap was definitely a very scruffy lap, a very scrappy run. A lot of mistakes were made, and it was pretty much a side to lap, to be honest. I kind of knew even there, like the final corner, running very wide, not really touching the curb on the inside. Lost a lot of time, and you can see we just go second, just behind Ricciardo, and 1:33, not a good pace. And I knew there was a lot of time to gain. Eventually, Leclerc went fastest with a 1:31.9, a whole 1.1 faster than my best. And I knew I had to step it up, and I knew there was time on the table. You can see here on my second run, I was flying, but then I invalidated my lap time, which was really annoying. If you look at this point of the lap, we're 8 tenths up or so, absolutely flying. And it's a real shame because you can see towards the end of the lap we were 1.1 up now, and make that 1.2 almost as we cross the final corner and cross the line, and we would have gotten fastest by a tenth of a second, and we would have done a 31.8, which is really frustrating. Nonetheless though, we're going to go for another lap, and that lap right there was the fastest one I actually executed. This one was also very quick. The question is, will it be quick enough? Here we go, straight away onto the pit straight. For turn 1, you want to brake just before the 50-metre board, down to 4th gear, really attack these curbs and be aggressive. Lay off the inside one of turn 3 here on the left. You want to try and avoid that as Leclerc sets at 0.8, so the bar has been raised slightly as we now go in towards turn number 5. This right-hander, all about, again, that inside curb, getting on the power as soon as possible. And so far, we're only 3.5 tenths up. At this point on my last run, I was almost 6 tenths up, so it's not been as good. It's been a bit of a scruffy lap in some areas. Again, running a little bit deep there into the left-hander as we now go into this next right kind of hairpin. And we're so far 4 tenths up as we now feed the car through this very tricky left. We kind of turned a little bit late there and don't really optimise the general speed through that section. And now we're going to go through the section where last time we got the invalidation. This time we're going to keep it all legal and above board there, nice and safe on the curb. You can see the time difference. We was nearly 8 tenths up at this point. We're only 4 tenths up here. So I kind of realised going into the second half of the lap, I was up against it and the pressure was on. And I needed a big final sector. You can see we're still quite a way down here going into sector 3, so pressure's on, and I'm going to try and step on it here and see if I can make up for lost time straight away going into the chicane here. All about attacking these curbs, once again letting the car do the work and the setup work for you. Again now through this left, again getting as close as you can to the wall on the left without touching it, and then through this right. It's all about not getting too wide there, otherwise you're going to lose traction. Then again through here, really giving the curbs a bit of trouble, being really aggressive. And then finally the final corner, I absolutely threw the car in. You can see the front end grip, and we go up to the line, and we do set a ridiculous final sector. We just miss out on pole position by literally half a tenth. but we pulled back so much time in that final sector to the point where we pretty much equaled our previous lap on the last run. So pretty much we could have had pole by like 3/10 or 4/10 if I'd just done the first half of the lap like I did on my invalidated lap, but it just wasn't as smooth, and I knew it was going to be hard to match that because my lap was so perfect on my second run, and it's a bit of a shame we couldn't get Leclerc there, but the field's pretty competitive here. You can see we had to really step it up to match the Saubers, who are still very quick around here, and we've done a good job, and I'm quite happy with second place because we get a front row start, which means we get to cause Leclerc direct trouble going into turn 1 in the race tomorrow. But with that being said, not the best qualifying, it could have been better. Pole was definitely on the cards, and we kind of threw it away, but still good pace, a good solid final lap, and we're going to start the race on the front row tomorrow alongside my championship rivals. So fingers crossed we could try and get in amongst it and try and get that first place at the start. But with that being said, let's jump into the race for round 15 for the Singapore Grand Prix and the F1 Night Race. Let's get into it.
Great qualifying session. Are you feeling safer ahead of the pack? It didn't look like you put much time into practice today. Is there a reason?
Great! Well, that's everything.
As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the sport that never sleeps is alert and raring to go. Welcome, under the bright lights of the Marina Bay Circuit, to another Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very long, very physical lap, this one, and really there's not much in the way of margin for error. So we have a bit of an endurance race for you tonight. The 3.1 miles of the Marina Bay Street Circuit wind its way around some of the iconic landmarks here in the heart of Singapore. 23 corners in total, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, making this one of the most technical circuits on the Formula One calendar, with just 47% of the lap taken at full throttle. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. That was a great podium in the last race, so can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out will have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Martinez completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ericsson, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Alonso, Hamilton and Kevin Magnussen, Bottas, Perez, Romain Grosjean and Hülkenberg, Ocon, Gasly, Brendan Hartley and Lance Stroll, Sainz and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix. Front row start, second place alongside the championship leader, Charles Leclerc. The good news about this track is the run to turn 1 isn't very long. So if we get a good start and a good launch, we can potentially get ahead of Leclerc. It doesn't give him enough time to really, get that acceleration in the Sauber to really pick up the top end speed. So let's see how it goes. Race strategy for today, no rain expected. Hypersofts onto ultras, onto another set of ultras. I might use softs. I'll see how it goes because tire temperatures are a little bit of a concern around here, and I'm more comfortable on the soft tires. Also, I'm expecting the Leclerc to go quite aggressive on strategy, so we'll kind of see how that one plays out. It could be quite an interesting dynamic for the entire race. Fuel-wise, we are 1.5 laps over. I'm not going to go too heavy. Actually, I might go 1.2, a little bit less. And going to try and hopefully be a little bit more aggressive at the start here. But the target is simple. I need to beat Leclerc into that first corner. And if not, we need to try and beat him on strategy. So let's just jump into it and let's see how this race goes. It's time for round 15 for the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's jump into it. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs. Get him into the sweet spot. The 5 lights are coming on. And they are off. And away we go for Singapore. Wow, Leclerc literally gets a perfect start. Ericsson trying to go around my outside here. Gonna force him out wide. And retake second place. Leclerc though, what a start that was. That was absolutely sublime. And he was completely unchallenged into turn 1. Nothing we could really do there, unfortunately. And look at the gap he's already pulling out. The Sauber's just got so much engine power. Hopefully we can try and put him back in though. Towards the second half of this lap. Ericsson will have the back of it as well in the other Sauber. But let's try and see if we have any pace here to compete with Leclerc here today. Strategy is going to be important, as track position ultimately is keen around this circuit. So let's see how this plays out. But for now, Leclerc doing exactly what he needed to do. An absolutely impeccable start. I still can't believe how good of a start he got. He literally had no wheel spin at all. It was literally perfect acceleration all the way. I'm also hoping tire temperatures aren't a factor for me that much in this race, and I can run these hypers quite comfortably. But it looks like we're already opening up a little bit of gap there to the midfield. If you look at the mini-map, the gap's starting to form as we run a bit deep into turn 14. That's going to put me in the back foot slightly. But it looks like we've settled in okay here onto race pace and race fuel. Now it's all about trying to see if we have any more pace in this to try and keep up with Leclerc. Leclerc 36.8. He's way faster than me at the minute. DRS now enabled. I'm going to try and keep in front of Marcus Ericsson if I can through these first couple of corners, and that way he doesn't get DRS, and that way I can start to shake him off hopefully. But Leclerc's pace is what you expect it to be honest. Just absolutely incredible. Right, personal best. I'm going to stick with the strategy that I'm being recommended, although I've really changed my tyres to the second stint to softs, and I want to try and go nice and long on that second stint. I'm kind of relying on Leclerc getting caught in traffic, to be honest. That's what I'm banking on this race. Although his pace is very strong at the minute, I'm still kind of hoping, because the hypers go off very early, if he can pit in within the next 2 laps, he should feed out in midfield traffic, which is what I want. And I'll try and go a little bit longer in this first stint if I can. Change of plan. My front right is overheating, so I'm going to pit in this lap and go for these hypers because they just don't feel that good. Even if Leclerc comes in, which he does not, I'm going to pit in. And a bit of a different strategy here. I'm just going to go for it and go long on this second stint on the soft compound tyres, get the softs out of the way, and hopefully that pays off. So let's see where we feed out here. A couple more cars in the pit lane with us as we go into the softs. So I'm looking forward to getting those soft tyres on the car. They should feel a lot better, a lot more consistent, a lot more stable, and then we should be able to go ultras later on once the fuel's burned off a bit and the cars are lighter. It should be easier. As you can see, we've got a few cars going past us here. They're on ultra softs. If we can feed out just behind a little pocket of space, that'd be great. I'm going to rejoin here just behind Sainz and Hartley, which is not ideal, but if we can rejoin in front of a few more cars, just we do. There we go, in front of Perez and a Williams, it seems. That'll do. Now we need to wait for Leclerc to pit in, hopefully this lap, and I also need to try and switch on these softs, which feel very understeery, but once they're up to temperature, it should be fine. So let's get a head down and let's try and switch these on and try and go nice and long on the race in these tyres, preferably. Alonso pits in. We're now all over the back of Brendan Hartley here. Let's try and focus on getting a good run through the final corner. Carrying the speed, there we go. Hartley actually gets on the brakes for some reason. Bit of a strange one there, but nonetheless, we continue on, and I think Leclerc's come out with some pretty good clean out. I mean, he's come out right in front of Gasly, which is really annoying. I really wish that hadn't happened. And Sebastian Vettel's out. Wow. In the Ferrari, Vettel and Perez as well. Double retirement. There must have been some kind of contact or something. Onto the back straight though, DRS on Sainz. Let's try and get onto him now and try and pass the Renault. Then we'll have some nice clean air to work in. Okay, now we're all over the back of Sainz. Let's try and get past him if possible. Into the final couple of corners. Let's just have some patience here. Get the power down. Wait for the DRS. There we go. Drag race now down towards turn 1. That Renault's doing pretty well on the straight. As we've got Ericsson, they're leaving the pit lane down the inside of Sainz. And we take that position. Ericsson's going to rejoin behind Sainz as well, which is beautiful. There we go, P7, good stuff. 36.6 from Leclerc. Very strong pace, which leads me to believe he might be on another hypersoft potentially. Potentially, not 100% sure, but that's my guess. As we close down on Ocon and Gasly here. Hopefully I can maybe nab some DRS. Ericsson and a lot of signs of battling behind us as well, which is good. We are going to pick up some DRS onto the back straight, but I'm not really close enough for any kind of move just yet, I don't think. And we definitely don't have enough juice on the straight to really get past these guys, so we're going to have to try and pass elsewhere. We've got 4 cars between myself and Ericsson. Leclerc, who's already opening up a mammoth gap out the front. Alright, can I pass Ocon here? Down the inside, yes I do. A little bit of a drift, but we get it done. Very nice move. A little bit actually unexpected. I didn't think I'd be able to pull that one off, but we do manage to get it. Tactical overtake. 1 car down, 3 more to go. 36.4 from Leclerc, very strong pace. Into the final corner. Let's set up Gasly for the move here. DRS, it's a drag race, he's got DRS of his own, which is a little bit frustrating. Right on the outside, doesn't quite work. I'm going to have to give that one up. Let him go back past, we're going to go on the outside of turn 3 though. Power down. Come on, let's get that inside line, please. There it is. That's what I'm talking about right there. Open up the DRS. Job done. P5. Up next, Romain Grosjean, and not too far in front, Valtteri Bottas, I believe. We've lost that gap to Ericsson, which is not good. He's making his way through the traffic much easier than I am, due to the straight line speed difference. But we're now behind Grosjean here, and not too far behind Bottas. We need to make these overtakes as soon as possible. Grosjean is so slow, it really is. To the final corner though, we are going to pick up the momentum. I've been a little further back. Get alongside him. I'm going to try and get a toe from Bottas here and be cheeky. We're going to share the draft into turn 1. We're down the inside of Grosjean though, and take that place. And now we're going to try and get Bottas on the back straight, 2 for 1. Let's try and make it light work. First time of asking. There we go. Nice and patient through there. On the power, DRS open, and this should be a very simple move on the Mercedes. Bottas give me a squeeze and a half there into the wall. We're going on the outside though, lots of grip on these tyres. And there we go, job done. Leclerc is on a hyper, so it confirms my suspicion of him being aggressive on strategy. So even if he goes soft on his next stint, I think that's impossible to go to the end of the race on soft. So he might have to stop again, we'll have to wait and see. But Leclerc on a hyper, that's why he's so far ahead, which is fine. But I've finally got clean air now, which I can finally push in. So let's get to work, because Magnussen is leading the race and he's on a one-stop, so we need to catch up. Oh, yellow flag behind. I think it's Bottas. And I think he's out of the race. He was battling with Ericsson, so that would explain it. We'll get confirmation in a moment's time, hopefully, if Bottas is out, but I think he is. Meanwhile, Ericsson now is going to be on me on those ultra softs. He's going to be hunting me down at a rate of knots. Magnussen in the pit lane onto the soft compound tyres, so that confirms that actually Leclerc.
Okay, some information on Bottas. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
There you go, Bottas out. As I was saying, that Magnussen stop does confirm that Leclerc could probably go soft to the end of the race, which is a little bit annoying because he has a massive gap. So let's hope Leclerc feeds down to traffic and has a bit of a tough time. That's the only way I can get back into this race. Okay, Leclerc in the pit lane, there we go. I'm expecting to go into softs. Oh, is he going to go for the softs? We'll find out. He's got the last pit box, so we might not find out. I know we don't, he gets overtaken. Or, actually no, he's already done his stop, I think, so Leclerc's gone for another set of hypers. I think he's gone for another set of hypers. Okay, that's interesting. Now that's what I'm talking about. He could have gone for the softs there, but he's gone for another set of hyper softs. So Leclerc going uber aggressive in this race. We're going to be on the ultras on the final stint. Now he's going to have a good amount of laps to catch up to me here on those hyper softs. While we're on these softs, he's going to have such an advantage over me. It's going to be probably not even fair. However, we are the net race leader of this Grand Prix now. And this is opened right up for us. This is our chance now. We're leading the race. We need to counter this, and especially now more than ever, not let Ericsson pass because the pressure's on. And this has just become a very winnable race for me now. At the minute, things are looking good. I'm burning off my excess fuel. I'm burning it all off because I want to be nice and light, and hopefully that will take some stress off of the tyres. We're comfortably keeping Ericsson at bay. Alonso is still P3, but he's got Leclerc for company, who's setting the pace. As you can see there, he's actually going to maybe attack Alonso to turn 1. He's making progress. Charles Leclerc getting his way past the traffic fairly easily. But then once he gets past Alonso, he's got to get past, well, not get past, he's got to make up all that lost time and clean air. So he's going to be quick, but will the hypers last long enough for him to make up that gap? I'm not so convinced. Okay, Leclerc's now officially P3. Confirmation he's on the Hypersoft, so that's good news. I'm now going to run Rich Mix and also Hot Lap PRS for a couple of laps to really see if I can open up a gap to Ericsson here, because I think he's starting to struggle in his Ultra Softs, and now's my chance to open up a gap and basically avoid him potentially undercutting me later on in the Grand Prix, because I've got to go quite long on these tyres. So it's time to push and open up a gap to Ericsson if I possibly can without killing my tyres. Okay, strong lap there. Big gap open up to Ericsson, personal best. I've got one more lap left with Rich Mix and Hot Lap ERS, so let's make it count before we turn everything down. Leclerc sets the pace, you can see there, about a second faster than me, even though we're 3 compounds harder, so that's not too bad. This change of pace is also in response to Charles Leclerc, who's still flying, but we've had some strong pace. Couple of personal bests, but we're now going to go back down to normal engine modes and let everything just save up by itself, which is what it does around here pretty much. But healthy gaps, we've opened up a nice little window now to Ericsson. He's well out of DRS range. And now I'm kind of waiting for the Saubers to kind of battle in amongst each other, which should be interesting because obviously we know how fast the Saubers are on the straights, and Leclerc isn't going to have it as easy trying to pass the same car. So that can make things quite interesting. I think Leclerc has pit in. I'm not convinced, so I'll confirm it now. Yes, he has. Leclerc's come in. So he's now going to go into the ultra softs, I'm presuming. So we had about a 5-second gap, so we can obviously stay out for 1 or 2 laps, but not much longer. So we're probably going to pit at the end of lap 20 just to play it safe. Ericsson should come in this lap as well. Another reason I'm going to go long as well is because I could potentially and probably will get held up by Ericsson if I come in due to the way the pit boxes are, and Sauber are the only team that are further behind than we are, so we would lose time. So I'm going to use Ericsson as a reference point to see if he comes out in front of Leclerc or not, to make me realise if I made a good call or a bad call. Because if Ericsson comes out in front of Leclerc, then we should be okay to pit in this lap. Okay, Leclerc is in front of Ericsson, I've just realised. I'm actually surprised. That's a problem. That's going to be a big problem. Also, I'm kind of racing Magnussen here. Can we come out in front of K-Mag? That's going to be close. But we've got to push here. Last sector. We need to make it count. I could potentially go to the end of these tyres. Haven't looked at my tyre web. I'm going to play it safe and go for the ultras. 25 seconds gap to Leclerc. Here we go. This is game time. Get it all slowed down. There we go. Right, it's all down to the pit crew now. I think we should be okay. And I really hope we are. I hope we haven't thrown it away by staying out 1 more extra lap. But I just want to be safe on those ultra softs. It's a lot of time though, 22 seconds. Let's find out. Here we go. 2.1, good stop from the boys there. Still no sign of Magnussen yet, so we're still looking good to come out in front of Magnussen here so far. Okay, here comes Kevin Magnussen now. We're going to rejoin just behind him. And Leclerc is on him as well. He's going to be close. Pit exit. Up to speed. Crossing the white line. Oh, that was close. Barging wheels there. Leclerc though gets the exit. Right, the acceleration. How does he do it? He's just an absolute machine. He's got DRS on Magnussen as well, which is really annoying. Wow, we've lost it. I can't believe I'm actually shocked. Leclerc made up 5 seconds in 2 laps. Well, 6 seconds really. However, this is never just yet. Magnussen's going to be the cork in the bottle here. Let's try and stick with it. I'm going to have to take a risk. A big risk. Leclerc stuck behind Magnussen. This is my opening. All over the back of him. Ericsson behind us as well. Out the hairpin. You watch this acceleration from Leclerc. Magnussen, please go defensive. Okay, Leclerc doesn't go for it. I really thought he was going to commit to a move there. I need to get a move somewhere in this final sector. Corner cut, first one of the race, that's fine. Hitting that wall, come on, I need to find a move on Leclerc here. Second track extend. 1-1, I've got a penalty, I'm pushing the limits here. Through the final corner, up to speed. DRS. No, man, come on. Down the inside of K-Mag, we make the move. Leclerc gets through as well. I need to push now while I've got the fresh tyres, but Leclerc just gets such good acceleration. I don't think I'm going to get it. I haven't got enough. No, we're too far back, I think. No, come on, not now. VSC deployed. Right. Oh man, that's annoying. That's really annoying. What can I do now to get past Leclerc? What can I do? Alright, the speed then. VSC is in. Let's try and stick with Leclerc through this final sector if I can. This is my strongest part of the racetrack. This is going to be my best chance to stay with him, although he's going to be in max engine mode now because of that VSC. I'm going to give it everything. I'm going to give it absolutely everything through the final corner. DRS. This is my last chance. Leclerc does go defensive. I'm going to try and go around the outside, all the way around. A bit of contact there. Leclerc gets an awkward line, and I go all the way around the outside. Not really sure what Leclerc tried to do there, but he got a very weird line. He kind of ran deep on the brakes into turn 1. But we've got past him. Can we stay in front on this straight? This is going to be a challenge and a half. I'm at full power here. I'm going to have to go defensive. Down the inside. Oh, yes, that's it. That's the one. Okay, we've got back in front. Now, can we stay in front? That's the real challenge now. We've got to hold him back for the rest of the race. Could I back him up into Ericsson maybe? It's worth a try, but I mean, he's not going to get past, I don't think, because he's got DRS on me as well. Let's see how it goes. Let's try and get fuel back on target first of all. Right, personal best, purple final sector, gap to Leclerc just within a second. He's going to make up some of that time on the pit straight. Hopefully I can try and get him outside of a 1 second window. Come on, let's push on. I think we have got the pace here to stay in front of Leclerc quite comfortably, actually. The ultra softs are working really, really well. I'm loving these tyres. Also makes me realise how bad the softs really were, but we've managed to get away with one there with their strategy blunder, trying to stay out one more lap. We've managed to get back in front, and I should be okay to stay in front now. We've got a lap traffic as well, which hopefully we can try and play to our advantage. Okay, then we should get DRS on Stroll here. Just going to launch it into the final corner, and hopefully he shall get out of the way. There we go. Purple lap, Stroll, move, pal. Really compromised line there, but he's going to hold up Leclerc a little bit, which is what I need. Let's try and pull away now. This is my chance to break DRS from Leclerc. Right, there we go, another strong lap. Gap to Leclerc 2.2. We're looking good here. Let's bring this home. So far so good. I've been concentrating a lot, keeping my tyres under control temperature wise, right front on 102. It's not going no higher than that. However, I'm fully aware and I'm expecting a late flurry, as the Sauber always do, especially Leclerc in the last couple of laps, to suddenly set purple laps. So as you can see by the fuel, I've finally got some fuel on side, and I'm saving that for the last lap of the Grand Prix just in case Leclerc does go on a late charge. And I think he's already started. Gap down to 1.5. It was as high as 2.7 at one point. So I'm getting ready. Right, here we go. Then we've managed it beautifully. Used up the rest of my fuel and managed my ERS. But there's no way an overtake is going to happen through this sector. I've just got to make sure I don't cut or invalidate, because we are one away from a penalty after picking up those two on the same lap behind Charles Leclerc. But here we go. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying for so many races, but finally we're going to get the little bit of luck we needed. And this race here at Singapore, finally we're going to come through to win the race and pick up a massive 25 points for the championship. Get in. Whew, that's such a long race, man. Really tiring race, but we've done it. Right, so looking at the final race results, we win the Singapore Grand Prix ahead of Charles Leclerc and Marcus Ericsson. Fernando Alonso, P4 in the other McLaren. Good result for us as a team, and also for him. He needed that result. Probably his best finish of the season, I think. Daniel Ricciardo, P5 in the Red Bull, ahead of Kevin Magnussen on the one-stop strategy, who also got ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Grosjean as well in the second Haas, also on the one-stopper, and then Hülkenberg and Ocon running off the points. Hamilton just missing out. And further down the order, you got quite a few retirements here with Perez, Vettel, Bottas and Verstappen all retiring from the Grand Prix there. And I got to be honest, I didn't even notice half of them because I was so focused and literally laser focused on trying to stay in front of Charles Leclerc. But in terms of what that race means for the Drivers' Championship, the gap to Leclerc comes down to 75 points, aka 3 race wins. Alonso jumps up to P10 into the top 10, top half of the table with that P4 finish, and Ericsson overtakes Sebastian Vettel with that 3rd place. In terms of what the race means for the constructors, Sauber are 118 points clear in the Constructors' Championship. They are absolutely dominating, and they're going to wrap that up very soon. So Ferrari a second. We are actually starting to catch Ferrari a little bit and pull away from Red Bull after that result, and hopefully we can add some upgrades to our car after that race. But yeah, all in all, a successful Singapore Grand Prix finally we picked up the W after a long time chasing it, but I think it's going to be back to usual when we go to Japan next time, or should I say Russia? I think it's Russia next, so that's going to be interesting. Not a track that I particularly enjoy, so let's see how that one pans out. But now, let's jump into the laptop and let's get some upgrades on this McLaren.
You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they? Great! Well, that's everything.
Right then, so here we are on the R&D screen. So straight away, we've already added on one engine upgrade for the ERS. This is for the status, or the stators, and it's going to improve the ERS and how it works. It's the only minor upgrade I have left on the engine side of things. Everything else is ultimate or major. So we've got that on the car to try and really solidify our place as the second best power unit on the grid. And in terms of the aero, we can't afford much because of the points that we have. Therefore, we're going to go for a front wing downforce here, and we're going to go for an upgrade on that part of the car. So 468 points, we're going to add that on, and that should arrive in the next race in Russia. That's going to get us very close to Ferrari to being the second best aerodynamic team on the grid, and pretty much another double upgrade on the cars. That should take us to second in the overall performance comparison chart on the right hand side. So fingers crossed those upgrades arrive. I'm kind of praying Sauber don't have nothing in the pipeline anytime soon, because then we can really close up to them. But other than that, guys, hopefully you did enjoy this episode of Career Mode. If you did enjoy it, then please do drop a like on the video. Also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content and turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. Finally, check out these two videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching, guys. Let's have my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.